Hi, it's Rebecca Logan again, and I have a currently inked to do. My currently inked notebook is inside this beautiful cover, which is a Rotterfaden made in Germany, and it holds a number of different notebooks, up to 3. I've got it holding 2, so one of the holders is just loose. It holds my ink swatches book and so here's my ink swatches book. There's my swatches in it. You've probably seen that before if you've watched any of my videos. And my currently inked book. So let's line this up with the camera as best I can without bumping things. And we'll do a currently inked. Let's see, how are we going to do this? I think I'll start with my finest pen and go to my thickest pen. So, or nib size, go by nib size. So first of all, the date is October 18th. 2022. This is my younger brother's birthday. Happy birthday, Ivan. Not that he'll watch this, but my dad will. So, hi, Dad. Okay, so this is my pen BBS 308. In the sand material. It has an upturned nib, but it's marked as a fine. And the ink is a sample I have, Private Reserve Arabian Rose. And now I'll do my inky iris. There we go. So I'm getting some shadows. Let me just play with the light for a moment. See if I can improve that. That might do it. That's number 1. Next up, next thinnest nib is probably my Lamy 2000. God, I love a Lamy 2000. It's the classic pen. It's a wonderful pen. I have 2 of them. I have this one with a medium architect, and I have one in an extra fine nib, which I bought for spare parts because I did what everyone tells you not to do. When I was cleaning the pen, I took it apart. The warning is don't take them apart. It's easy to lose the ring. It has these little knobs on it. Yeah, it is. It went through my garbage disposal. I couldn't retrieve it. So I had to buy an extra fine for spare parts. So it means I have 2 different nibs I can use with this pen and get completely different looks. So it also means I paid for 2 Lamy 2000s and can only use one at a time, which is a bummer. And this is in Macrolon. The nib is a 14 karat gold medium, and it is an architect. The ink is Diamine Steel Blue. This is one of the earliest inks I bought. Still one of my favorites. I'm really glad I bought the 85 milliliter bottle. Big giant box of ink here. And I get to use lots and lots of ink. This will last me a lifetime. Inky Iris. I love these inky irises because they show the shading quite well. So if you can't see the shading just from my writing sample, you should be able to see it in the inky iris. Like you can really see it with the Private Reserve Arabian Rose. My next finest nib is another 14 karat gold medium with cat hair. Always a bonus. Nell is off sleeping in another room, so she probably won't visit tonight. This is my Platinum 3776. If you're noticing a slight tremor in my hand, it's because I'm on a new med and it is causing a tremor in my right hand. So my printing is not as tidy as it used to be. I'm going to have to prime this. I wrote with it earlier this evening, but it needs priming again. Century. Okay, not enough priming. There we go. Just went to the side and tapped on a notepad until it started coming. And this is a celluloid. And this is in the tortoise shell, but it's a 14 karat medium nib and it is a stub. It has been stubified. This was stubbed by Jack Hernandez. The ink is Sailor Gentle, which is an older line of Sailor inks that they no longer make. Tokiwa Matsu. If you recognize this color name from a newer line of inks, it's because they repeated their more popular inks that used to be in large 50 milliliter bottles. They reintroduced them in 20 or 30, I think 20 milliliter bottles under a different ink line name. This is the old bottle. Absolutely massive. 50 milliliters of ink. And let's do an inky iris. This is a lovely, rich green that sheens bronzy brown. It's absolutely gorgeous. My next thinnest pen is one of two pens I'm going to show you that were both exclusives to Wonder Pens in Toronto, made by Franklin Kristoff a few years ago. I don't know if Wonder Pens is selling these any longer. And Franklin Kristoff has a variety of wonderful materials that they use, but this was an exclusive material to Wonder Pens, and it's a very soft smoked gray. This is a model 20. You notice I didn't unscrew the lid, I just popped it off. It's a friction fit lid. So this is a Franklin Kristoff model 20, and I'm just going to put double WP for Wonder Pens. And this is a 14 karat medium, and it is a SIG nib, which is specific to Franklin Kristoff. I didn't buy this. This isn't the original nib that came with the pen. I bought this with a medium steel nib. That was one of the options that came with the pen. And then I went to Franklin Kristoff's website and bought a medium gold SIG nib to go in this pen. The ink is Ferris Wheel Press, Canadian company. We're keeping it Canadian in this pen. You know, Wonder Pens is from Canada. Brass. And this is Madame Mulberry, which you would think would be a purple, but is not. It is a lovely velvety gray with kind of berry undertones, but you have to work hard to find the berry in it. It might be my new favorite gray. There are some serious hard contenders, but the amount I keep reaching for this pen, I filled this less than a week ago, and there's hardly any ink left in it. It is an eyedropper filled pen, so I've been writing with this nonstop, just loving this velvety gray. Gray is not a favorite color of mine, but for some reason, this ink just does it for me. It might be the nib. The nib is spectacular. This 14 karat medium SIG. This was ground by Jim Rouse. He passed a few years ago, so there are no more Jim Rouse SIGs out there. And I am really, really glad I got one before it was too late. Next up is the other Franklin Kristoff Wonder Pens exclusive. This is a Model 45, their pocket pen. And it also does not have the original nib. I bought this one with, I think another medium, plain medium, and have since replaced this with an 18 karat gold medium stub. This is a Mike Masayama stub. It is a talkative pen. I don't know if the mic is picking that up. That's a Model 45 in the Wonder Pens material. There's a stub. This is 18K, and it is a medium. And the ink is Australian. It is Robert Oster Green Olive. As I've always said, it is neither green nor olive, but it is a beautiful, rich, warm yellow, not too orangey. And it is my only yellow, and I adore it in this nib. This is my all-time favorite nib. At some point I will do a video of my favorite nibs, my 10 favorite nibs. And the one thing you will notice is they have all been worked on or were extremely well tuned out of the box. But I like nibs with, what is the word I'm looking for? Line variation. I like nibs that give line variation. So next up is an Osprey Milano. There's going to be something in common for the next 3 pens and with one pen earlier. And if you pick up on it, you probably know what video I'm going to be doing next. Okay, Osprey. Milano in rose quartz. And this is a broad steel architect. The ink is, what is the ink? The ink is by Arbon, which is a French company. And I am a bad Canadian who cannot pronounce the French for this. So I'm going to call it Tropical Coral. So this is an American company, pen company. I think based in California. And they do a neat thing where when you buy their pens, you can buy them with a regular nib, but you can add on Zebra G nibs, which are for super flexible writing, super flexy writing. Or you can add on special one-off individual nibs that have been tuned, or you can just buy extra nibs for your pen so that you can have a more varied writing experience. So when I bought this, I bought it with a medium, and then I bought a broad architect, which is this nib, and a double broad architect. Now I tried the double broad and it was just too big to write in these small grids that I tend to write in. This is a 6mm grid in a Cosmo Airlight notebook. So the double broad architect is a 1.5mm nib. So I found it just too big for my handwriting and for the type of grid I'm writing in. So I put that one in my box of unloved nibs. Next up is my Bennett Talisman. If you've seen any of my previous currently inked, you've seen this pen. For some reason, it just keeps getting re-inked. Well, I know the reason. The reason is it's pretty, and let's not post that. B, the nib. So this is a Bennett Talisman in Mandrake. This is a broad architect. This came a broad that was beautifully tuned for incredible wetness and smoothness. It was just a gorgeously tuned nib. And even though I loved it, I wanted more from it, so I sent it away to Jack Hernandez and had him tune it to an architect nib, or grind it to an architect nib, which he did for me. This is Van Diemen's Black Tongue Spider Orchid, which looks a lot similar to Private Reserve Arabian Rose. Now that I see that, yes, I'm realizing that. I have two very similar pink tones, grade pinks. I'm drawn to the grade pinks rather than the bright pinks. But this is a beautiful shader too. This particular ink shades beautifully. The last pen I have inked is my Can Write Heritage in the brown marble swirl. This is a piston filler, like the Lamy 2000, which I forgot to say is a piston filler. Everything else you've seen is a cartridge converter, except for the two eyedropper pens. The two Wonder Pens exclusives by Franklin Kristoff were eyedroppers. So this is Can Write. And I'm just going to call this Brown Marble Swirl BMS. This is a double broad Architect. And it's steel. It's a plated steel. The ink is another Urban, but this one I will try saying. This is Lee de Tay, which is tea leaves. And it really does look like tea leaves. It has kind of greeny undertones in the brown, but it's a warm golden brown, a caramel brown. And that tremor is getting to me. So how many pens is that today? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I just cleaned out 3 and re-inked 1. So 8 pens seems reasonable for me right now. I don't know if you can see the sheen on the Sailor Gentle Kiwamatsu or not, but it is very sheeny. I don't normally enjoy sheening inks, but Kiwamatsu has such a beautiful underlying green that I can't help myself. That's my currently inked for this month, and I'll see what October brings to me. But so far I have added, I think I started out with 3 pens inked at the beginning of the month, and now I went up to 9. No, I went up to 10. Now I'm down to 8. So at least I'm getting some writing done. And like I said, I've almost written this one dry, this eyedropper one dry. So this will get re-eyedroppered because I want it to last out the month. So yeah, thank you for sticking with me. I appreciate your time. Thanks. Bye-bye.